voice as well, because hearing is good, but people always looking for to see people faces and this kind of thing. So
we can set this up together. I think Instagram streaming is not so evolved as other streaming. Great. My travel channel works actually.
That's good.
Oh, wait. Okay, you can double check now if it works on YouTube. I sent you a link now. You can hear this because I just turned off the sound after this. So let's make the double check. So check if you.
You send me the link on WhatsApp or?
No, on Zoom.
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, and you can hear us as well, right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Yeah. I suggest, Junia, we talk about traveling to Costa Rica because both of us have traveled to Costa Rica before. Maybe we need to tell the audience, like the millions that are watching us, that that both of us live in Ireland. We know each other because we worked together for the same company, and I thought it would be a great idea to start this channel off with an interview with a podcast where we can both share our experience about a country that we have visited, and Costa Rica is the country in which is pretty far away, and both of us have visited. And yeah, thank you, Junia, for joining this podcast and tell us about your experience in Costa Rica.
Hello, guys. So my name is Junia. I traveled in Costa Rica in 2008, 2019, because it was after I got redundant from VMware. So I took a year of traveling, and over there it was a workaway experiences. So workaway is a platform that allow you to travel and work and live at people's house by either way giving classes or helping them in the house, or there is different way of doing it. So when I arrived over there, it was after leaving Mexico. And actually, I got a gut feeling that maybe I left too early Mexico. I should have stayed a bit longer in Mexico. And the checking of my luggage was, when you are connected to your intuition. So I got a fees, first of all, because of the booking. I don't know what they did, but anyway. So I have to pay extra money, but I was able to afford it. But anyway, so I arrived at the airport. I took Uber. And on the Uber, the guys was really nice, explaining me the situation, how is it, we were connecting. And he was bringing me to my Airbnb over there. And on the way, he told me, yeah, be really careful in Costa Rica, because I was traveling by myself, as a woman. They always kind of warn you everywhere you go anyway. And they told me, yeah, be really careful. And we were just on the right lane, straight lane. And in front of us, there were the opposite lane, and there were a car who skipped the car in front of her. And so we arrived, we were making like a frontal with the other car that was coming in the other side. And the Uber driver was so good with his reflex. He has just the right time to turn on the right with the wheel and then go back. And then there were kind of roundabout a bit before us. And because he didn't, the car didn't respect the speed limit, there were intersections where there were a car coming on the right side. So that car that was keeping the lane, like really bomb on the car that was on the right side.
Oh shit.
And there were a big car accident, and I was like, damn, you just finished your sentence by telling me be careful when you arrive in Costa Rica. And
Was it in San Jose?
yeah, we were going to San Jose, yeah.
And the accident happened in which city?
On the lane, on the way from the airport to San Jose. So it was kind of not a motorway, but I cannot say that it's motorway over there because again the infrastructure is a bit different from the rest of Europe. But it was a big lane, where there was a lot of traffic. So I was like, wow, that's I hopefully that stay will be nice. And I arrived at the Airbnb, and it just changed the dynamic because it was a couple who just became parents, and she has a whole house with a little patio where there were water inside. She was doing yoga courses. I had my own room. There were people over there, so it just helped me to release that tension. Because at the airport I had the luggage and I avoided a frontal accident with the car. And from there, I stayed a few days in San Jose. I was chatting on the platform as well. What's the name? Couchsurfing. So I met a local person who were connected with him. It was really nice. We went to see. I went to his house. He was with a few friends, so we spent the night gaming, playing cards, this kind of thing. And then we were on the balcony and we were watching the thunder because in Costa Rica the thunder are so powerful. They are not
Thunder.
thunder, yeah,
Yeah. Mm.
on the sky.
Yeah, yeah.
And they are totally different from Europe due to the location of the country, in
So,
the
yeah.
air.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you have experimented that as well, thunder over there.
I haven't. I can't remember that I saw a thunder at that time. I was traveling to Costa Rica in 2019.
Mm-hmm.
It
Also,
was,
time.
yeah, yeah. It was January with my wife, and we also, we had only 14 days, and we spent for a few days in Nicaragua as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and but I don't remember that it was. I didn't see a thunder there, but I can relate to the streets there, and that driving is difficult in Costa Rica because of as you said, the infrastructure. It's not only that the traffic is crazy, it's just that the roads are not built. Sometimes it's just mud, it's just sand, and
Yeah.
it happens out of the sudden. You come from a very urban place, and
Mm-hmm.
then you are suddenly going into a different part of the country, and there are no roads whatsoever, and you really need a four-wheel drive to go
To be able to
able
move.
to drive on the roads,
Yeah.
and we came so much close to our limits there. That was we really underestimated this because big urban places are, they were not much different from Europe, but in villages, in some places, the roads are so bad, and and steep and everything. And when you drive at night, there's no light whatsoever. That was terrible. We once drove from the west side to the east side of Costa Rica,
Mm-hmm.
and we underestimated that we're driving at night, you know, because everything goes, everything is very centralized through San Jose. It's not like Germany where you can actually, you know, go from west to east and from north to south. No, everything
No,
goes through San Jose,
yeah.
you know, and that's the shit. So then we had no idea how long that it will take that long, 6-7 hours from the west side to the east side, from the Pacific to the Atlantic, I think. And I was driving at night, and I had no idea where the street is ending.
You
And
were driving, you were the driver.
I was the driver myself. We rented a car.
Wow, fair play.
Yeah. Yeah, that was tough. That was really tough, I tell you. And that night, you know, I was so afraid, and I had no idea how it looked like outside. You know,
Yeah.
because it was so dark. It was so dark, and there were hardly any cars passing by, and I could not view my vision, my sight was, you know, was very limited. But we were in a rush to arrive at this hotel because they told us, you have to be there before 1 a.m. Otherwise nobody will there. It was also like a yoga retreat. Some Westerners who owned that place, and we had to go there, and I was really afraid. And yeah, sorry about that. But maybe that gives a little bit of you know, different perspectives for the ones that are listening to us now. And yeah, but sorry about this.
No, you
Yeah.
sure? It makes total sense, you know, I totally understand. Because, yeah, like we said, sometimes we are complaining in Europe about the road, but it's only when you travel that sometimes you just like, okay, actually, we quite in a good place as well, because the scenery is totally different. It's mountain. So it's humid, the climate as well, it's totally different from Europe. So the quality of the road, the material are totally different. So it's a different way of driving over there. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's not only like safety or crime, which is a factor. Well, in cost when we actually drove to San Jose, we were in some places where I, you know, didn't feel very safe. You know, not even like
Really?
yes, in the car. You know, but that happened by accident. So it was also like the traffic was then different in San Jose. Of course, you
Yeah.
go into a bigger city, you drive in a different country, and then there were some corners of the city which were not so, you know, nice to say it's politely. And then there I didn't feel, you know, no, I wouldn't say I was afraid, but like I was happy when we left the city for
Mhm.
many reasons. For the traffic, because, you know, like, you know, we were lost there, and you need to drive in a different way as you used to. And so renting a car, to sum this up, is not for everyone in Costa Rica, you know? It's
For me,
not
I
for
was
everyone.
using because the people again, you know, I was like I said, I was using the platform called Surfing, saving money, and then after I did because I was supposed to stay 3 months over there. My goal was to learn Spanish. There were a project with Workaway to teach Spanish in a school. And so like this, I became a teacher and I learned at the same time and I got the hospitality, but I didn't get selected. So at the end, I got selected for a project in an island on the west coast, close to the Gulf of Nicoya. So I need to take the ferry over there, and it was a couple. The man was local, and his wife was from Russia,
Mhm.
and they were starting a business with a stingless bee. And the thing is that I was wanted to help them to set up the sales strategy over there. So like this, they could receive, they could get first income. But it got really challenging in terms of connecting with the woman, because we were with two other people. Another girl, she was from US, and another guy, he was from Ukrainian. So we were staying really. On the description, she said, yeah, but it's still close to the city after, spending 15 days in San Jose with a family where I was taking public transport to go to San Jose. Over there, that was really nice because I saw the big gay pride over there. That was the time of the gay pride. So there was an event in the city. And I didn't feel unsafe, but I was not staying as well until midnight or 1 p.m. by myself because, again, I was by myself. So when I took the ferry over there, it was a long journey. I fell asleep on the buses as well. I took so many buses. Sometimes I was like, and the thing is that I fell asleep, but people never bothered me. I never lost one of my luggage, like you could think. I was trying to speak Spanish with Google Translate at that time. There were not so much the AI as developed as it is in nowadays. So I feel really welcome, really supported by the local. I went to a place where, you really in the jungle. So that was really beautiful to see the tropical forest, to see nothing over there, just sometimes one house, and then after a big, wide scenery of just vegetation as well. That was really good. And then when I arrived, we took the ferry. I met the people over there. The house was really huge, so each of us had our own room. And the guy Maxime was working with the men to collect the honey in the morning. And they were as well building a wooden house that were in the future serving as a beehive houses, where they were putting how do you say, the hive, inside of the little wooden cottage. And you could move it. It was not something that was stable. It was something under a wheel. You have one bed that he was building everything by himself with some of his employees. And there were one room, one little kitchenette, kitchen. And on top, there were one bed, and that's why they were inside of the house, the hive. So like these people could benefit of the honey, the smell for the skin and this kind of thing. So they were trying to put that as a pilot project. And where I felt challenged is because the woman at the beginning. She was allowing me to do the sales strategy, but she was not really transparent when I was asking about the resources that she has. So it was really complicated to help someone to build a sales strategy when you don't know the income and they don't want to really talk about it. And then at that time, she just gave birth to a little girl. And so she thought that at some point I was the housekeeper. So I was more cleaning the house rather than really building the strategy with Belly, the other girl, who was more doing the sales stuff. And I didn't understand at the beginning. I was like, okay, I can clean the house, but it was a huge house. So I didn't understand why I should have cleaned by myself. At some point I got frustrated because when we arrived, we were isolated, but really isolated. It was an island. There were one little shop that was opening maybe twice during the week, and then after you were in the middle of the jungle in the morning, so you could hear monkeys. That was really beautiful experience. They were saying be careful because when you sleep, you need to make sure that the door is closed because otherwise they can come in. You can have snake, you can have viper, and I didn't have all of that, so I was quite lucky. The bees as well, some of them were really dangerous too. We went fishing in the middle of the night at midnight as well. Put the how do you call that? The thing that you throw.
Yeah, shit, I don't know. In German, it's Angel. It's like the root. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
everyone knows what we're
but
talking about.
you were carrying them and you were half of my body was under the water. In the middle of the night, midnight, past midnight, I was not really comfortable because I was like, I cannot see shit. And, it's not like it's a river. So, but I made it. We collect some fish a few hours later that we ate the next day. So in terms of that experience, I make it shorter than it should. But while I was there, I met a group of videographers from Italy that work for National Geographic.
Yeah.
And they were coming to their house to talk about the project that they were doing. And I get along with them. So when I decided to left earlier than planned, I went with them, and he was sending me a beautiful picture of animals when he was in the middle of the forest, the rainforest, the beaches. So that was really beautiful to connect with them because, they are really passionate about volcano hiking, about nature. So that was just amazing. There were as well, they met a native tribe.
Mm-hmm.
So there were beautiful connection over there. I met an Irish girl as well when I was in San Jose. She was as well on Workaway, and she was working on a project for turtle, to save turtle.
Mm-hmm.
And for me, that's where we connect on that platform, because you can connect as well with people who are in the same place than you.
Mm-hmm.
So we connect at the Gay Pride, but then after we didn't have time to reconnect. And the thing as well, I took my background as working for Airbnb to help them to have a first income. So they could rent the Airbnb, then make experiences with people by having one day where they gonna collect the honey, and then after they're gonna do a work.
It's a bit like woofing, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of like that, yeah.
Mm-hmm. But can you tell me a bit more about this walk away platform? So this couple where you stayed, they actually wanted you to build up a sales strategy for them on something, or am I completely wrong?
No, you're correct, because people who are offering job opportunity, if I can say that, they have a profile, they have description, and everyone who went who stayed at the place after can leave a review.
Okay.
And for me, there were no review, but I decided to go because it was experiences, and I never worked with any stingless bees, so I was like, I never heard that word before, so I didn't know that even exists, stingless bees. So we arrived, three of us over there. Like I said, Maxime was more working on the manual constructive side, and Belly and I were more working on the sale marketing strategy in order for them to have a platform or to have first resource of income.
And how was the payment?
But that's the thing, in exchange of having the house, you don't get paid, but you help them.
Mm-hmm. Okay, well, that sounds also a bit of, yeah, I mean, some people can make use of it, so they can use the work power of someone else, and
So people can be really abusive, and at some stage she was really abusive with me when I was the only one who have to clean the whole house. And I was like, I'm not going to spend my 3 months over there just to clean the house. And the fact that she has a newborn, I was more babysitting the newborn than any of them. And she was teaching him body control, which is okay, I have nothing against that. But the
what was?
body control, it's when you don't put any nappies to the baby. So
Okay.
she learned by herself to control when she need to go to the.
Yeah, I heard of it. Yeah.
But the baby was not even walking. She was only 9 months, nearly a year. So after I cleaned, she was kind of being a bit everywhere, which kind of frustrated me because I spent all the morning to clean the house. Then 2 seconds after, it was dirty because the baby
And
was happy.
what did they do for a living? So like they had a yoga retreat,
No,
or like where they what was their nationality?
pardon?
Their nationality. What was the
Uh,
nationality?
the man was from Costa Rica. He was younger than his wife, and the wife was from Russia, but she has been
Okay, yeah, you told me. Yeah.
for a few years in Costa Rica.
Mhm.
They didn't have any other resources. And the first thing I was like, but why you don't purchase any container where you can sell the honey? Let's start from there. Just selling the honey. And every time I was asking, they were like, yeah, but it takes time. We want specific container. And I was like, yeah, okay, I understand, but at some point you need to start from somewhere. So the more you wait just to just get a container, it's like a simple income that can come and make the business work. So there were always excuses, and I was trying to, because the house is nice. We had the swimming pool. It was on a high road, so we have a beautiful view of the forest in the morning. We have the sunrise. We have the view on the ocean. So you could combine different way with the Airbnb. Like I said, I used to work over there, so I was like, okay, why not to do experiences with the Airbnb? But there were, the woman. It was more the woman who was constantly battling with every idea that I was submitting, and we were not progressing. So when you have someone who asking you to come for a project, they describe exactly what is the project, but when you try to establish the project, they always say no, and they tell
Yeah,
you
that sounds a bit dodgy, yeah.
yeah. So it was a bit dodgy, and so this is why I decided to leave.
Mhm. So like you only lived from your savings and you could stay there for free.
I could stay there for free.
Okay, I
That's
understand.
the exchange. They were offering you the house while you were helping them for their business.
Yeah. Yeah, I understand. I mean, this is yeah, well, you can actually look at this from different perspectives. So on one hand, it's actually good for someone who wants to travel and wants to save money while traveling. At the same time, this woofing concept can also be a bit abusive. I think just staying there is not enough. If you work there, then I think there should be a little bit more than of a compensation. But I mean, is it
Yeah,
if it's you
yeah,
know,
I agree with you. And that was the first time I was doing it. So, I learned from that. Uh,
yeah.
and so this is why as well I shortened the stay because I was like, okay, you want to save money because I was living under my saving. But at this stage, you don't want to feel prisoner as well from people. So the rest of the stay, I stay in hotel in San Jose, and the journey was not finished because at that time I wanted to apply for the visa to go to Canada. So I was going to the Canadian embassy in Costa Rica.
Hmm.
But the first appointment, I arrived 1 minute later due to traffic, and they canceled my
Oh
meeting.
shit.
No, 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 it's the time. 1 minute later, you cannot come, so I have to schedule another meeting. I arrived to the meeting. That was okay, but they tell me the paper that I have was not the right one. I need to bring something else. So I was like, holy shit. So
I
it was
mean, that changed your life. I mean, if you if you had been early to that appointment, you might be living in Canada right now.
yeah, as well too.
Yeah.
But then after the appointment, I went to ATM machine to rejoin
Wait.
me to take the taxi back.
Yeah.
The ATM machine kept my credit card.
Oh fuck. Yeah.
Yeah, so I was like, oh no, my Irish credit card. So I was like, okay, what the heck is going on? This stay in Costa Rica is not good at well. I knew it. I was
Yeah.
so frustrated. I was like, from day one, I knew it. I shouldn't be there. And so I need to call my bank, AIB Bank in Ireland, in order to
Mm.
give
I
another.
know how it feels like.
Yeah, because when you don't have access to your money, you need to count every penny.
and this happens quite often with either permanently or with Irish banks in general. Luckily, since I have been using Revolut, it never happened to me again. But whenever I withdrew money from countries like Peru, Brazil, or Costa Rica, they canceled my account, and then I had to call this call center number for like an insane rate.
Yeah.
And I waited 45 minutes just just to speak to someone, and then I was transferred to another advisor, and I was going apeshit, and I think I spent like hundreds of €150 just on that phone call, and they didn't even solve that issue, and that was insane just because I was withdrawing money from the ATM in Peru. They instantly canceled my account. Okay, I didn't
Inform
I
them.
didn't inform them, but with Revolut, it's an easy thing. Like Revolut knows where you are, so they know whether this is a fraudulent transaction or not. And so once, when I was flying back from Zanzibar via Addis Abeba, I bought a cafe at the airport in Addis Abeba, and then Revolut actually canceled this transaction only because, okay, how can he be in Addis Abeba? That's very weird. But then they knew actually from my, GPS that this was me who ordered this cafe in Addis Abeba. So this transaction was fine, and they didn't cancel my account. But with permanent TSB, that was disastrous, so many times. And even when I informed them, they canceled my account. So I really know exactly what you're talking about.
Because you got already stressed, in a country where you can speak the language, you don't have access to your money. So I have to use my MasterCard. But then when I use my MasterCard, I book a flight to go back to Guadeloupe because I was like, okay, I'm done. I just want to leave. When I book the flight, the guy's on the phone. It's when I arrive at the airport that he didn't took a direct flight, that I realized he didn't took a direct flight. He just took a flight to Costa Rica, Miami. And then after he didn't book another flight to Miami from Guadeloupe. So I have to stay a few days in Miami, which was good, And it was totally the opposite, when you are in the rainforest, the volcano, because Costa Rica, no matter what, I would like to go back because the landscape, the nature of it is just like beautiful, really powerful. I went as well when I was there after the break, leaving from the place. I went more to the Caribbean side of the Costa Rica, close to Guatemala.
Yeah.
And over there, you have black sand. You have people who are so beautiful. It's a mix of native and Caribbean people as well. So it's another type of people. But that was really nice. It was the little break. So when after I go back to San Jose, I book my flight. I realized that the guys didn't do a direct flight, but did a stopover, but didn't book the second flight. So I was like, okay, let's book a hostel. I book a hostel with a platform that I discovered when I did all my researches. I think it's Hostel Adventure as well. They are a bit everywhere in the world. And that was really nice hostel, international hostel with a swimming pool inside, not cheap, not expensive at all. But when you enter, I was like, wow, 10 seconds ago, I was in the middle of forest. And now I am in Miami, where it's all about luxury, people, modeling, big car, expensive car, people, fashion, like pa. And I was like, wow, the world can change in 2 seconds like this. And I was a bit shocked because when I was walking on the street, I was coming back from nature.
Yeah.
And you arrive in Miami, everything is expensive. People are superficial. Women are so. Not. For me, it was a lot of women were again, I don't want to judge, because if you feel happy with your body the way it is, I'm happy as well. But there were a lot of
Botox and
Botox, chirurgy operation on their body. So I was like, wow, okay, I was in the middle of the forest, and now I'm like with people with big money, apparent. So, and yeah, that was a bit a big shift, but I enjoy. I was like, okay, I want to go to Little Haiti because there is a place over there, but it's all about. It's really nice, Miami, but there is no nature. So compare where I was, it's all a building. So when you are walking,
more about beaches, Everglades, and
yeah, and I thought, I could walk like I was doing usually in big city, but actually you're burning yourself. Everyone is with car or public transport or using tram, metro to move, because when you walk, it's so hot. There is no trees. So yeah, that's something I learned quickly.
yeah.
Yeah.
I had this contrast the other way around when we actually crossed the border to Nicaragua. So I would say like Costa Rica was full of nature and amazing places, scenery, but it's still compared to other countries in Latin America, quite wealthy. You know, some call it the Switzerland of Latin America. And so like the infrastructure, I mean, there are many places where, rich Americans, rich Russians travel to Costa Rica. But you're absolutely right. So that, the difference probably between Costa Rica and Miami can be huge. But in that case, when we actually went to Nicaragua, I was really afraid because I heard so many bad things about Nicaragua because that was shortly after an attempted coup,
Okay.
and the leader is still the same. It's what's his name? Lopez? I don't know. I don't know what is the leader is still the same, and his wife is the vice president of this country. It's communist place, and so there was a big difference. The closer you got to the border of Nicaragua, the yeah, the poorer, the dirtier it got. I'm just generalizing now, but there was a lot of dodgy business going on the closer you got to that border. And I heard so many stories about this border that you really need to be careful, vigilant about everything because there are so many scams. And that was right because there were people selling papers,
Mm-hmm.
but these were papers that you got in the offices at the border, so like the visa forms and all
Yeah, yeah.
these people try to make extra business and and it's very hectic, so much chaos. And I was really afraid because I heard so many terrible things about Nicaragua, and it's definitely much poorer than Costa Rica. You
Mm.
really see the difference when you are on the other side.
Yeah, yeah. But
And
Costa Rica is one of the richest island in the Caribbean. If I think it's the richest one.
yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah,
no.
and then like the bus, they call the buses chicken buses in Nicaragua.
Mm.
They are like old American school buses,
Okay.
and
Yeah.
and it was chaotic, and of course, I can hide it that I'm a tourist, and luckily I speak Spanish, not perfect, but well enough to communicate with them, and of course they try to sell me things, all kind of things, and when you got into the chicken bus, we got a ticket to Granada. I think that was the biggest city. We booked this hotel online, and it's so much going on in these buses. Whenever this bus stop, people coming in,
Okay.
people vendors coming in and they sell everything, the things that you cannot imagine, like Viagra or like I don't know, food, weird weird stuff, and always hectic, always loud, and so much music from all sides. A very nice feeling. It reminded me a little bit of Zanzibar as well.
Mm.
Because from the vibe, and very different to Costa Rica, um, and so long story short, what I want to say is that um, it's people say that Costa Rica is, or that Nicaragua is dangerous, but it depends. It depends. And what I learned from the people there is that they are not after tourists. They're not after tourists,
Mm.
and there's no drug trafficking, or not like in Mexico. There are not um, so many killings. It's because it's just a transit. It's just a transit. Like the drugs, they come from Peru, Colombia, and they go to Mexico and all these things. But it's the money is not the drug cartels. I do not play a very significant role in Nicaragua. So there are not so many killings like in Mexico, for example, And what the locals told me is that the police they have eyes everywhere, and if something happens to you as tourists,
Mm-hmm.
they immediately get caught.
Oh,
And so in that sense, probably it is safer. What you can say is like it was not safe in terms of that a coup could happen again, politically safe, that out of the sudden so many people are rising, and this at that time that seemed to be very very likely to happen, but not this um not like this level of crime where they come to you with a knife and
yeah,
threaten you.
yeah, yeah.
But I would say in that sense, Nicaragua is safer than most other countries because they have a secret police everywhere and everyone is poor. Like
Yeah.
there's not a big difference between super rich and super poor, like
Mm-hmm.
in many many other countries in Latin America.
Yeah, yeah,
Because
no.
it's communist country, yeah.
Yeah, they were telling me the same thing because I wanted to go to Guatemala to the border, but people advised me not to go because
Yeah.
as a woman, they say it's too dangerous, so don't go there. So I didn't go. But it was just like 1 hour from the Caribbean side of Costa Rica
Yeah.
by car, So, but yeah, other than that, I will return to Costa Rica because, like I said, it's a beautiful country, um, nice people, varieties of sceneries, food. I enjoy to eat the food over there.
Mm.
The local dishes, that was really tasty, and there are a lot of similarities with the Caribbean food as well.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's the overall experience. Despite the car accident that we avoid,
Yeah.
the experience with walk away with the woman. I try to learn every experience is in positive things. The fact that even though that it didn't the way I expected over there, I stay a few weeks in a nice places where in the morning I could hear every bird. I record them. So
Yeah, that's amazing.
uh,
It's
y- you are really in the middle of the forest, the tropical forest with all the animal, and when they woke up in the morning, you can hear every noise. Uh,
yeah.
just like beautiful, magical, that connection. Yeah, it's something that if you cannot really put word on it until you
Hmm.
uh, live it,
Yeah.
So, and yeah, the sunrise, the sunset, I was like, wow, it's stick in my head. So I really enjoy over there. When I got back to the San Jose city center, I enjoyed to go there because there were a lot of activities. The family that I was staying was really nice. We get as well, how do you say that? A earthquake
Yeah.
when I was in Costa Rica, so there were so many things that happened over there. When I was with the family, they have two children. The guy was working in the IT industry as well, and the woman was really nice. I was staying in the room of their children. So that was really cool too, really local family. And at some point, that was the first earthquake that I was, living. I had experiences where I could feel the vibration on the floor in Belgium, but here the level was at 4.6, something like that. So,
Hmm.
feel already the alarm of the cars were ringing, the dog were barking everywhere. And you have the impression that it lasts like for 2 minutes, but actually it's just like 30, 45 seconds. But that's intense
Yeah.
because
I know.
the wall of the houses were moving. So that was another experience as well over there.
Yeah.
But I survived. I'm here to talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, I also saw an active volcano in Nicaragua.
Hmm.
Where was that? Actually, I don't remember well, near Granada it was, I think. And as you said, Nicaragua or Costa Rica or probably Guatemala,
Hmm.
these are very magic places. Unfortunately, um, especially Guatemala and Nicaragua, a little bit more difficult to travel, especially as a solo traveler, as a
Hmm.
woman. I would say, like Nicaragua. I would say Nicaragua is safer. This is just my guess, but of course, would never, don't take my word for granted, because you can always be at the wrong time, at the wrong place. But it's different, and Nicaragua is different to Guatemala and Costa Rica, and Costa Rica is wealthier and Guatemala is poorer, and Costa Rica is Nicaragua. Most people are equally poor. And yeah, but it was also for me a very, very amazing experience, as you said, the close connection to nature that you have, and that you see parrots, you see red parrots
And
flying above your head, and
you see sloth as well.
yeah,
Yeah,
slots, yeah,
the exotic bird as well. Yeah, that's just like wow, and yeah, they are so like you said, the exotic bird with the color that's yeah, just like beautiful.
yeah, things, animals that you only saw, in a animation movie or in the zoo, and you suddenly see like a bunch of parrots flying over your head. That's really really amazing. And we stayed in Nicaragua, near volcanic no, near a lake, that was actually in between volcanoes.
Yeah, okay.
And like we slept more or less, well, we slept actually in an outside bed, and it was maybe this was a little bit too much nature, no? Because we actually we heard the apes jumping over us and everything, so okay, maybe that's a little bit too much nature, or maybe I should get a little bit protection inside. I need to have at least a roof above my head. Um, but it was, I just today I saw these pictures of that journey, and said, wow, amazing! It's so amazing, unreal what I saw there, and I really should bring back these memories, and I wish I had um, time to travel there again, especially Guatemala, Nicaragua. And like I should send you the video of like this when we were waiting there for the bus, because everyone it was full of music, full of life in
Mm,
Nicaragua, you know,
yeah.
insanity, like not, you don't see anything like that in Europe. Maybe in Africa, but you don't see anything like that in Europe. No, that was so amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, and the smell, you just said the smell, it's the same because for me it made me feel like home because there is music, people are outside, people are speaking. There is always a little, how do you say, little installation where people are cooking, so you can feel the different
Mm.
flavors everywhere, different type of music. So and they do as well a lot of ecotourism because due to the nature, so you can sometimes spend. Fine, it's not sometime if you want to do more ecotourism, you can be in the middle of the forest and a beautiful wooden installation. So it's another experience as well to
Mm.
do. And
Yeah.
the saying the gastronomy, for me the Costa Rican dishes, the ceviche as well,
No, I love it. Yeah, I love it. Yeah.
the fresh tropical fruits, the mango that is just big and juicy and smelly. I was like, so good, make me feel like home, from
Mm. And here in Ireland, you only get this in a in
um,
a in a plastic bag, you know.
and the galapinto that you took in the
Oh,
morning.
yeah,
I
Galapinto, yeah. Mm.
I learned how to do it when I was with that family for the project, So that was really nice. Like I said, the secret beaches with the black sand, that's something as well different to experiment. The hiking, for me, like I say, for you, you didn't really feel safe, but for me, I feel safe during my trip in Costa Rica. But like I said, I was not staying really late in the evening, like I was by myself. I found as well when I arrived at the first Airbnb, a Caribbean guy who was mixing Costa Rican food and Caribbean food from other islands. And I was having my lunch the time I was staying there. I stayed 2 weeks over there, every every lunchtime. So he started to recognize my face. So he was really happy to see me every lunchtime. He nearly became a friend. It was a couple of. I would say old people. They were around 60. They were running their own business with food. So that was really nice as well to what I try when I'm travel. It's always to spend my money to local rather than a cha-
Mm.
big hotel, this kind of thing. So this is why I say as well ecotourism, short circuit in terms of knowing what's around. Uh, as well as a girl, I enjoy to do my manicure over there because it's so cheaper than island and
Mm.
really nice things in terms of decoration. So I was like every 2 weeks changing my nails. I was so girly. I never do that here in Europe because in Europe it's like 80 quid.
Yeah,
Here
yeah,
it was like 10 euro and they were doing a better job than in Europe. And
yeah,
I'm so happy.
yeah,
So that was my little pleasure while I was traveling in the Caribbean and especially in Costa Rica.
yeah.
So yeah, in overall, like I said, despite the bad experiences, I took it as a really nice country, and I really encourage people to go over there, either way by a tour operator or to do a little circuit by themselves. Stay in places where there is a lot of people. Don't go by yourself either when it's in the dark. It's like um, little prevention that you have to apply everywhere you go when it's not your own country.
Mm. Yeah,
But
right.
I find people really welcoming for me. I really got a good experience. So I will recommend definitely people to go to Costa Rica.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah. So yeah, the advice that I would give is Uber is relatively safe. I mean, you had the accident, unfortunately, but I think Uber has made taxi driving safer in Latin America because, of course, also there are things that could happen, possibly happen, but basically you know who the driver is, you know the reviews of the driver, you can give a review, you can report if something happens, and that is so different to the older days when there was no Uber, when there was no apps for ordering a taxi. You could only rely on on the taxi driver and hard to it's very hard to know whether this is an official taxi or this is
True.
not. And so Uber is your friend in South America or Latin America. And I also like the option of I think I don't know if they have it in Costa Rica, but you can also go on motorbikes.
Yeah,
Yeah. I know that you can have it in Brazil, not everywhere, but in
yeah.
Foz do Iguaçu. And well, this is only for tough cookies, because if you're afraid of go, driving on a motorbike there, then don't do that. But if you want to have some excitement, then yeah,
Go for it.
don't wait for it, And yeah, this is one thing. And renting a car, four-wheel drive is really recommended, because I know an Irish couple, I will not say their names. They did rent a car, and they regretted it so much, because especially when you drive abroad, it's another thing. If you would drive, for them, driving on the right side is not natural. For me it is, but for them it was not. And driving that can be a nightmare because of the bad roads, because of the sandy roads, no asphalt, and it can be very muddy. It can happen that you find yourself in a very in a spot where nobody lives, and you stick in mud. No, so avoid that. Only go for four-wheel drive if you can afford it. If you can afford it.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't feel comfortable to drive when I am abroad. In Guadeloupe it was okay, because it's still part of France. I don't know, the road was okay. But Costa Rica, Trinidad and Tobago, Miami, I didn't drive either.
Yeah, I heard Miami is very bad. Yeah.
It's a big motorway and the traffic is like 4, 5, 6 lane. I was like, hell, I'm not gonna do that here. Haiti, no way either, because there is no road. You're between the pedestrian, the motorbike, the bus, the tap, the cars, everything in the same road. I was like, no, I'm not gonna drive. So, and like you mentioned, Uber, that's something I was really surprised in Central America to see that offer of Uber with a really affordable price. And at that time, I found them really in advance, because they were doing already Uber Eat, Uber Grocery, which we didn't have at that time in Europe. We only got the service for Uber Drive. So it's quite handy as well when I was in Costa Rica.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Junia, we actually talked longer than we wanted. It's already
11.
Yeah, 20 past 11. And yeah, that was great. It was great talking to you. We should do this again about another destination, or we can follow up on that talk as well. Unfortunately, I forgot to record that. I mean, it will be on YouTube now, but I should have
You click on the recording button. Okay.
What do you mean?
I thought you click on the recording button because I got a request to accept. So I
did. No, that was for the live stream. That was for the live stream. But I mean, you can watch it on YouTube. But the thing is, I cannot now edit. I mean, I can, but I need to download this from YouTube again, which will make it a bit complicated. But that was my learning, and yeah, let's see how I can cut it, and maybe I will add some photos of Costa Rica later on. And
it was a pleasure. Always happy to be one of your guests for your casting journey. So doing it, and see you next time.
Yeah, see you next time. All right, and have a good night.
Bye bye. Take care.